information. He was like, no, I don't think so. Glad we're on the. All right. Well, we are going to get going, guys. First up is our friend Ray. Come on down and read them.
Here's my order.
First. Well, because we do have an announcement.
Yeah.
Martin, when you're ready. Thank you, Marty. We appreciate you.
Dress press.
Okay. We get the people in the hallway. Lisa's on the phone, so we're gonna get going, as we get started here, guys. Maybe that from back on. Oh, there we go. All right, guys, so, we're gonna get started, but we're gonna start today with a little bit of bad news. Sad news, pretty horrific news, actually. Lisa Leitner, you guys know her, those of you that do. Over the weekend, her son passed in the car. I talked to Lisa this morning. If what we did could be considered talking, she is obviously heartbroken. So what I'd ask for everybody to do today is keep Lisa and her family in your thoughts and prayers. We are going to be doing something here at the Market Center for her. But just so you guys all know, I just let everybody know Lisa Leitner's son passed in a car accident this weekend. He's 25 years old. So we're going to do something as an office, as a Market Center for her, to reach out. We're going to do whatever we can. We're working on the specifics of that. So watch your email, watch the Facebook page. I usually have jokes and humor to alleviate this. But there are no jokes. There's no humor. She's heartbroken, and as anybody who's a parent in here knows, I don't think we make plans to bury our children. And so when these instances arrive, let's get behind her and do what we can. I did talk to her this morning, not a whole lot of talking, but we were on the phone together for about 25 minutes. So we're going to watch and do what we can to help out. You guys just go ahead.
I think some of these are relevant. Yes, I think you guys know why I must subscribe. I think as most of you know, or at least some of you know, I'm a subscriber, a monthly subscriber to some note cards I get from Brian Buffini, and I happen to have some here. And maybe it would be worth if I hand these over to Nick or just stop by my office too. They're very cool little blank 3x5 cards, and they're all kind of colorful. And if anybody wanted to send Lisa a note, I'll hand these around. I've got a bunch of them, and I'll even supply a couple stamps. I'll have these.
Genuinely appreciate that, Steve. I think, as I told her this morning, I can't do anything to change it, and I have no words of wisdom to help. I've never lost a child, and hope I never do. Can't cry for me. It's horrible, and Lisa's a wonderful person with a lot of light, with a lot of love. And if you've spent any time around her, you can witness how she loves people. And so let's just do what we can to love her as much as we can. And we'll check back with the things we need. I think not right now. I think she called people we know. That was great. I think just surrounding with love, I think that it'll probably be a couple of days, maybe a week before she can even see out of her grief. But we'll be there for her and whatever we need for business, we're going to do fundraisers here, and try to get some funds over there. So super sad because, like many of you, I guess, I had a really great weekend. The weather was fantastic. I get to spend time with the people I love, enjoying the weather. Someone else that we love and care for was losing someone we love and care for. So, yeah, you get a chance to reach out, he's aware and was comfortable with me sharing this with the group, with our market. Anything you guys can do is say, thank you for your offering. I'll be writing one of those myself today. All right, let's try to move on to something a little bit more, with a little less sadness. Giveaway. This is a good place for us to go. It's okay. It's okay. No, we're missing today. So here's what we're gonna do. You want to raise your hand? Signed up. Who else is signed up? Steve is signed up. Okay, I am signed up. Who else is gonna get signed up in here? We have full silence here. If you guys are ready to rock and roll, we have more people, according to that wall, we have more people than we had last time already. And we fully expect that we will end up, near our 30, if not more. We are going to continue to pound this into, you want to get you to make I like laughter.
Quick reminder as to when the location.
Yeah, the location is October 9th, correct? And it's in Fridley at the Banquets of Minnesota. It's a great central location. It's a good place that fits us all, and I thought it was a good place for us to be. It's got a lot of windows. Got no windows, but it's a great place for us to be. Hold on, Jen's got some lemon.
Which that could be in. Stop! Screw it up.
Unfortunately, that is. You know what? No.
I pride myself in my overabundance of praise.
You know, you're well earned. Yes, well earned. Good morning, sir. Good morning. All right, next up on the list. Moment of gratitude. Today, gratitude means more for most of us, right? So who would like to share a moment of gratitude, something positive that happened to them in the last week, or something they have positive that's coming up? Hold on,
I just want to recognize Lynn with all of the changes that we've had with the new Narsound, the forums and everything. This put a lot of extra work on her and responsibility. You've done a great job, and I'm sure that everybody appreciates what you do.
Absolutely. Anyone else have some gratitude they'd like to share? Go ahead. Isaac, you go.
I'm grateful for the first day of school. My wife is very involved with kids in high school, and I know that when she has her first day back, she gets just overwhelming hugs and kisses and things like that, and some of those kids, the last time they got a hug was from Miss Bridget. At the last day of school. It's before the summer, and so that's always a special time, and then it's a little compliment. I got to arrive at son's house in time to see my grandkids, the little school uniform. Plaid, green plaid, sweater. That was super special.
You know what? I missed wearing the Catholic school uniforms because I never had to think about what I was wearing. I was gonna wear a blue shirt and blue pants, and I missed those days.
You should just start.
Try that again. Right.
Bring it back. The blue shirt and black, and then occasionally in the winter I had. Pretty dope. All right, thank you guys for the moment of gratitude. What's up next? Now, we will bring up our friend from the cross country Morgan. She brought the balls this morning.
Here we go with it. Well, I think that kind of what I was thinking about for today kind of falls appropriately, I suppose, being kind of where everybody is in the market center. I really wanted to take the time and kind of reintroduce myself today as well. However, I will say that I brought these. You take a look at it. Each little ball is different. It is a stress ball, but also September is, I think every month has a theme, several themes. You find something for every day as well. Like last week, there was like National Dog Day that I saw a lot of people posting about, but September is positivity. It's also like this one says, specific for today, be calm, be quiet, be kind. I think everyone says something differently. And so when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, not rates, not programs, not all the things that every lender has, but more just kind of a thank you and an overall gratitude that my business is better because I'm in business with people like you. So that being said, everybody here now officially, which sometimes we're in a room where I'm like, yeah, I haven't met that person, which is super awesome. With that being said, does anybody actually have questions on mortgage market, mortgage news, mortgage rates, mortgage program, what we can and can't do, all the things?
What is the current rate and are you seeing an uptick with buyers?
Current rates, depending on the program, could be high fives, low sixes. Seeing a lot of FHA and VA in the fives, which is fantastic. Rates are kind of just like a little bit up and down, up and down, up and down, maybe an 8 here and there. And so what I feel like that's causing is a lot of people to say, what's your rate? What's your rate? What's your rate? What's your rate? What's your fee? Everybody's talking about rates and fees, which is appropriate. We all want the best deal, but it's causing a lot of, well, at least for the people I'm working with, especially my agents, I'm gonna go with this lender. I'm gonna go with that. Oh, back to the, who's got the appraisal? A little bit of shopping. Now, I personally feel like I've gotten a little bit slower as people are thinking rates are gonna come down sometime in September. You may or may not, but I firmly believe that the market has already corrected a little bit in anticipation of lower rates, and that's kind of what I'm telling people. That's just my interpretation, because I mean, a lot of times if we hear out of the economists, and we'll hear from Todd later too, that we could be wrong, and we probably are, and nothing could happen in September, you never know. I personally was my very busiest when we were in the mid-7s this year. And that's because people knew they were gonna get a house at a fair price, probably with some seller side closing costs or reduce in price. And they knew in the future they could refinance if they wanted. And so I don't know if it's the end of summer or back to school, but I've had fair conversations, but it hasn't been like a blast of all of a sudden we have all these buyers. Now I have had a lot of people ask about refinancing and if it makes sense. And so I've had a ton of those conversations, and in a lot of instances, the answer is no. Going from 7.5 to maybe 6.75 or 6.5 in a lot of scenarios didn't make sense. Recapture time was too long for the cost. See what
Brandon, anything different or new going on with VA loans? No.
I was like, shoot, not gonna help. No, nothing new or interesting or things that we should know about. I have several VA buyers right now, which is very nice because they're loving those interest rates too.
What about that? What, just teach us that. What's the difference in interest rates typically for a vet?
Well, a VA and an FHA are considered government-backed loans. So typically, depending on your lender, those are lower than a conventional mortgage. And now sometimes our veterans also don't, they have a waiver of their funding fee. So they could have a 0 down home, no mortgage insurance, no funding fee, and a lower rate. It's fantastic. And there's not so many offers on every house typically. Now, of course, yes, we're still seeing that. They have still more of a chance. Usually I would say last year or the year before, a lot of agents would say, never gonna get an offer. 25 offers going in. That's not typically the case at this moment, in my experience. Somebody else could be having something different, but. What's the maximum seller contributions on each? FHA and VA are 6%. So you could really buy your interest rate down too, and cover all your closing costs. Conventional is a tier. So 3% seller paid until you have 10% down. Yeah, at 10% down, you can have more up to 6%. Now that's for primary purchase. If you have a second home or an investment property, those tiers are different. Typically it's a master lender. Yeah, first or after lender, or also top and below the top right up to. It's dealing with second homes and investment properties too. Yeah. Any other questions? You have pizza coming? I have to pizza.
Thank you, Rhea. Again, you guys, I say this every time, every week with our vendors, partners, the people that support our business and allow us to be better at what we do. It's not a mistake. It's not a coincidence that we have the people that we have, the people that we're in business with here, because we want to help you enrich your business by having people that are dedicated and committed to helping our clients out, committed to helping you out, so that the experience for your customer is better. So Rand, thank you so much for being one of these people for us. All right, guys. There was one other thing I wanted to mention. It had to do with what we were just talking about. I'll have to think of something. I really did lose it, guys. Oh, Steve, it was you. Steve, come on up here once, my friend. So you guys, last week or the week before, when Steve Highland gets moving on something, he was here. Steve, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about what you've been doing in the last week, moving us towards some community in our veterans. So,
Thank you very much. It's a pretty cool deal, and I know that we've got at least a couple of other veterans in the room right now. I think maybe it was 2 years ago now, I was at the Keller Williams family reunion, and I decided to sign up as a member of the International Veterans Group within KW, of which is now about between 6,000 and 7,000 of us that were former veterans and are veterans. Well, about 10 days ago, thank you, I got a note from the Veterans Group, KW, offering the opportunity for anybody, certainly to include our market center, who would like to get involved in kind of a camaraderie group as well as a learning opportunity among us. So I think we're at about 9 or 10 of us here. I think they do, For sure. So we're gonna gather together often and have some, not just among us, but we'll also begin to put together kind of a training and education opportunity that will be led by our veterans, Todd included. So I think there's 3 or 4 of us that, the 9 or 10 right now. So thank you, Nick. And so we'll have some announcements about that. It's something that all of us who are veterans feel pretty special about. So thanks for the support on that. More to come, okay?
No, hey, let's keep it up. I'm grateful for Steven that you guys, and maybe my moment of gratitude is going to help with him simply because he stepped in and said, let's do it. This is a great opportunity for us to continue to grow community around this group of people, one, so that we can help, provide them additional opportunities for growth, and two, so that we know that we can help out veterans with some of our opportunities in VA funding and some other programs that are entirely towards that and their families. So again, thank you, Steve, for doing that. Watch out for that, you guys. We're going to be having meetings around that. So go ahead, Steve.
Okay, one last thing. You just reminded me. One last thing that Nick just mentioned also, and it's not just for veterans, it's for veterans' families. So if your mom or your dad or your uncle or your kid or whoever has that wonderful distinction, they'll be certainly included in from the KW International Group. They're members. Again, there's no cost.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Steve. We appreciate you. And for those of you that served in here, thank you for your service. All right, Marty. We now Agent Appreciation Day. How many of you guys have signed up for this? Okay, we need more of you to sign up. And what do we have for Agent Appreciation Day?
Morning with night.
All right, you guys, that's June 17th. Look forward to that. Marty, next. Bold. I said we keep talking about this. We will keep talking about it, you guys. We want to fill this bold up because it's going to be life changing. Martin, you want to go ahead and go? Oh, bold books. While Marty's getting that ready. Got it. There's a bold bucks sign sheet in the back. If you're intending on going to bold, you get gold bucks by being here. You sign in. I will hand it around while Todd is kicking off his burden. All right, guys, so I'm gonna leave it at this because we have some important things. I've taken bold, I've said it in here before, I do believe that this course is transformational. I believe that this coach is transformational. I've had great bold coaches, people who are awesome producers, people who are OPs and other people that have done incredible things, and none of them have compared to what I believe Hudson brought. So here it is. Are you sick of your own bullshit? Are you sick of your own, there's a few people in here that I meet with on a regularity or I have conversations with that I know are self-starter. Not all of us can be a self-starter. Some of us need external accountability. This is that course, you guys. I don't know how to tell you that this bold is going to be transformational. Why? Because of exactly what he just said. Changes in the industry, changes in market conditions. This is going to be that change for most of us in our business. If it's not something that you're committed to right now, most of you, not all of you, but most of you could legitimately use someone like Hudson coaching you for 7 weeks at 7 hours a day to change your life. This is about you. This isn't about the market sector. This isn't about more revenue for us. If we don't keep any, this is all going towards that bold program. This is going to be that moment of change. If you've wondered what you're going to need to take that step, you guys, I don't know how to tell you more. I think he was pretty muted here. This was not his moment of like when he's in there, he's absolutely smashing the point, and it makes it very difficult for you to not listen. So you guys, ask for you, are you ready? Or is someone else you know ready to make a change? Legitimate. This is that opportunity. So bold, bold, bold. Business objective, life by design. Let's make it happen. All right. What we've all been waiting for. Todd Hay, welcome to the party. Todd, if you haven't seen this before, this is one of those things that Todd does incredibly well for us. I'm going to hand it off to him. You want this or do you want this?
All right, welcome, everybody. I will try and make this as brief as possible, but we've got a lot of stuff to go over today. When we go to family reunion, we go to mega camp, we always talk about statistics with Gary. He brings in his chief economist, Ruben Gonzalez, to go over that. They feel that it's incredibly important that all of you are equipped with the best information so that you are the local real estate economists of choice. When somebody asks you the question, how is the market? They don't want you to say it's good, it's bad. It's okay because listings are up or down. It's okay because inventory is up or down. It's okay because sales are up or down. So we want to make sure that you have the best information, not only on the national real estate market, but also the local real estate market, because it's incredibly important for you to know what's going on. So when I put this information together with the help of Marty, because there is no way I could put it together this nicely without his help, it's really to bring it to an easy understand level so that you can articulate this to your clients. So let's jump in. Next slide. All right, inflation. We've talked about inflation over and over and over again. Why did rates go up? They had to go up to cool the inflation. Typically, when something runs up the way it did, the tail is equally as long. However, in this case, you will see that quick run up, that the tail is much longer than that run up. And it really illustrates that inflation is supposed to be down to 2.7% next year. Let's hope that it continues to trend in that direction. The August CPI release is next week, the week after the Fed meets. This Friday is the jobs number that comes out on Friday morning. All of those data points are important so that the Fed can make an accurate determination as to what they should do. So let's hope that the market is already factored in, like Raina was saying, the rate reduction that we're supposed to get in September. But let's just hope that it's a quarter point in September and 2 more for the rest of the year and a series of rate cuts next year. That should help bring rates down. If there was one thing that could drive sales, it's rate, right? And we're going to see some of that and the data we're gonna go over here today. All right. So this is very intriguing. This is a chart showing inflation up against the 30-year mortgage rate. The dark blue line is inflation. And you can see that inflation has pulled it over and has come down. However, rates have not come close to matching. And you can see historically, where those two tend to run side by side, right? So there is a correlation there. And again, as inflation continues to cool and the Fed's target is 2%, last release in August for July, we were sitting at 2.9%. Again, they're forecasting 2.7% next year. Let's just hope that it comes down faster than that. And sometimes there are surprises, but this absolutely will fold over at some point and start to come down further than what it's at. It's just taking longer. All right, new listings. So this is our market here locally. New listings through July, up 10.3% from last year to 40,299. However, they are still over 4,000 below where we were at in 2022. So overall, we have not gotten back to where we should be. And you're going to see that in our next slide. In July of 2015, at that point, we had processed 51,000. So 11,000 more listings processed than where we're at today. Sustainable? Probably that number. Somewhere around that number by July, we should have processed 51,000 listings, or just say 50,000 listings and 40,000 listings. So we're still well below. And we can't sell them if we don't have them, right? Fortunately, in some areas, new construction has backfilled that activity. So you go out to Forest Lake, North Branch, Woodbury, Rogers, St. Michael, areas like that, you're going to see that a vast majority of the listings in some communities are actually new construction. So that's helping fill that. All right, inventory of homes for sale, we are up 11.4% over last year, still nowhere close to where we should be. We don't want to get back to the levels of 2007, 2008 timeframe where we peaked at about 37,000 units. We're sitting at like 9,300 at the end of July. So we probably need to be closer to 15,000, but not 37,000. And where we were at in July of 2015 was 16,940. Next. So we're at 16,940 in July of 2015, 80% more than where we're at today, right? So we're talking about some big numbers. So the market started to normalize because rates went up, but we're still very far off from where we really should be. Again, fortunately, new construction is helping to make up for some of this, but we're still nowhere close to where we really should be on the existing. Month supply of homes for sale, we are sitting at 2.5 months supply. Can anybody tell me what a balanced market is in terms of month supply? Is it?
5 or 6.
5 to 6. So let me ask you another question. Does 5 to 6 months supply feel like a balanced market?
Oh, I feel like things would take forever to sell.
Yeah, it feels more like a buyer's market when you get out to it. So next slide, back in 2015, we were sitting at with that 16,000 or 7,500 more units than where we're at today. We're only at 3.7 months supply. So we have a long way to go before we get out of whack again, But again, even at 2.5 months, we've got some listings that are sitting out there for a while, right? So 3.7 months on a percentage basis, that's a whole lot more than where we're at today, right? All right, average sales price. This is interesting too. So we're sitting at 446,000. By the way, it goes like this every year. It doesn't keep going like this. It goes like this. starts out low in the first quarter, and by the time we get to the fourth quarter, that average sale price has come back down. And I could show you that in a lot of different slides. I don't really want to go there, but that's just the way it goes. However, when we compare this to 2022, we're at 426,000, then it pumped up 1.3% to 432, and then another 3.3% to 446. So the good news is that it's not crazy. We're not getting a, 10%, 12%, 15% numbers, which are not sustainable, right? We have seen a big run up. So next slide shows us where we've been and how far we've come. July of 2015, average sales price, 261,000. We're up 70% since 2015. July of 2019, 326,000. We're still up 37% over 2019 or pre-pandemic. So in 5 years, up 37% for our market, which by the way, our market that we're looking at is the 16 county metro area, which is a pretty good sampling of what a market is, right? It's not a small sampling like a Roseville. All right, July of 2021, we had jumped up to 390,000. We're still 15% of where we were at in 2021, and we sit at 446,000 today. All right, home prices. Next slide. So that dark line that you see going back to 1989 is basically a trend line for long-term appreciation at 4%, right? And we are way above that at 398,000. This is the national. So nationally, we're at 398,000. We really need to be at 357,000. And again, we'll see that number hopefully come back down. And what was our number? It was 446, right? So we have a long way. We're a ways off of where they should be. So affordability would not only be pricing, but it also would be interest rate. Interest rates start to come down, right? And things are more affordable, sales start to pick up. All right, next slide. So pending sales in the Twin Cities area, coming back to the Twin Cities metro area again. Pending sales through July, 27,820, 0.9% more than where we were at last year, but down 20.9% from where we were at in 2022. What happened in 2022? We saw that big run up in the interest rate, right? And obviously sales have cooled since then. So we really should be at that 34,000 number. We're at least 20% below where we should be, 20-some% below where we should be for this time of year. All right. And then pending sales going back to 2015, we had 36,280, so we're 24% below that in July of 2018. And by the way, sustainable is that 36,000 number. That's where we should be and growing from there. We're 25% below that. Unsustainable was 2021 when we were at 39,000. That is not where we should be. That was, COVID real estate basically, where we're up to 39,000. So we're 30% below where we're at. So we're at 27,000 today. Again, we should be at 36,000.
How do you say that's sustainable when all your other numbers said that it's like too low?
So the 36,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is kind of the norm. That's where we should be for this time of year. We should have ended at least 36,000 through July. And I'm going to show you another slide too on closed sales where we should be more sustainable. So pending sales, this is basically from the weekly activity report. I would look at this because when you look at it and you look off to the right-hand side, you can see how many weeks where pending sales were down. There was 1 week in there, which is basically an odd week because it was the 4th of July week, so I wouldn't really count that. And then the week of August 3rd, where it was up 0.6%. Otherwise, all those numbers are pretty much down, right? And so the trend, the reason why they show 3 months in that weekly activity report, which you should be looking at every week so you really know what's going on, is that will indicate a trend So the trend has been down, right? We thought that maybe we were at the bottom last year. Obviously, we're not. That's probably where we're at right now as we get into the rate reduction cycle, which should bring sales back up. All right, closed sales. Now, when we look at closed sales, one unit is two sides. Just keep that in mind. So when you look at units on here that we closed 25,746 units, there's two sides. So there's really 50-some thousand, 51,000 sides that will be available based on doubling each one of those units. So we look back to 2022, where we had 32,484. That is more the sustainable number, and we're down about 20% from where we really should be, if that makes sense. So, and then we go back to closed sales again. Closed sales through July of 2015, 32,000. The volume back then was 8 billion 6. We had closed 8.6 billion through July of 2015. Then you need to multiply that by 2. So really it was 17 billion 2 that we had closed because it was buyer and sellers. July of 2019, 33,057. And again, those numbers are where we should be, not the 25,746. But I really want to illustrate this, this volume number. In 2019, we jumped up to 10 billion, which is really 20 billion that had been closed through July. And in July of 2021, we were at 14 billion, 95 million. And so that's 28 billion. That number is not sustainable. The 33,000 units is more sustainable. And if we took our average sales price today and we had closed 33,000 through July, like we should be doing, our volume number would be above 2021's. So that's where we're going to, and then it should grow from there. All right, so let's look at the national number here. Okay, national number last year, 4.1 million. And again, really represents 8.2 million sides, okay? Projection right now, and this is KW projecting, we're going to be at 4.2 million. Dr. Yuen, the chief economist of the National Association of Realtors, actually had us at 4.6 million at the beginning of the year. He is more in that 4.3. So we really need to pick it up because we're actually trending below that right now. We're trending at about 3.8 million, not at 4.2 million. And there's a lot of people that believe that we're going to have a very strong fourth quarter this year. That's really going to be dependent on where rates come in. So, and then next year, some people are predicting, and you'll see this in the last couple of slides that I'm going to go over, that we would go up to 5 million units next year. But if you look back to 2015, 16, 17, 5.5 million is where we should be. That's the number we should be, not 3.8, not 4.1 or 4.2. We should really be, and not even 5 million that they're projecting possibly for next year. We should be at 5.5 million units and growing. So we've got a long way to go. Sides per agent. This is very interesting. So when we look at this, back from 2000 to 2007, NAR added 550,000 agents total throughout the U.S. and the size per agent dropped from 13.5 to 7.5. Then 2008 to 2012, as the market was in free fall, NAR sheds 330,000 agents, and size increased from 6.9 to 9.3. Then from 2013 to 22, NAR adds 580,000 agents, and size dropped from 9.8 to 6.4. You can see what the projections are for 2024, 5.6. Our goal here for our market center is to get to 10. So that's where we want to be at. And I believe that this is just my thought. When we look at the NAR numbers, and even if the NAR numbers are not coming down, big time. I think there's a lot of agents that are sitting on the sideline, not doing what they're supposed to be doing, not out there learning all of the new, not lead generating, not active in real estate, but they're just hanging on to their license. And I think that there's a big group of agents that will just, by demographics, get out of the industry anyways. There's a big baby boomer demographic that will be retiring out of the business and not wanting to adapt to all the changes. So I do see that number going up as well. And it will go up at a time when our average sales price is higher than it's ever been. The amount of available volume, by the way, will be at its peak as well. So let's look at the next slide. And this is market volume per agent. So even though the size per agent have gone down, I think this is really interesting to look at. When we were back here, you know, remember, we're sustainable at 5.5 million units. The volume back in 16, 17, 18, 19, probably average 1.6 million per agent back there at a time that sales units per agent were dropping. We just finished the third best year ever in 2023 and are projected to have the third best year ever in 2024, jumping up to 2.24 million. So that average sales price saving us, I can tell you during the Great Recession that the average sales price dropped and did not save us. So we saw not only units drop off, but we saw the volume drop off, and we saw paychecks cut by as much as 80% in a lot of situations. So we're not seeing that this time. And again, we're getting back to that point where we're coming out of a real estate recession. And we should start to pick up, and we should see 10 years of pretty decent growth. Next slide. Transactions per agent. This is just a reminder. I went over this last time when we did a market update. There were only 53 agents that produced a deal at Edina Realty Roseville last year. So when we compare that to PW Roseville, they did 6 deals per agent. We did 14. Now, knowing that each deal represents $10,000, would you rather be at Edina Realty or KW, right? Because I'm sure that I would want that extra $80,000 on average. So again, we want what's best for you. We want to do things like this where you're educated. We want to make sure you have the best support, the best facilities that would lead to these type of numbers. Creative results, 5 extra transactions, home sellers. There's an extra 14 transactions. I'm sure everybody could use an extra $140,000 on average. So just very interesting. All right, next slide.
How plans is different in every single.
Because they all would like to be our size, but they're not. So if they only had 99 agents that produced a deal at Creative Results, I'm only going to compare them to do a straight up fair comparison. One thing that I've always taken issue with is companies, when they put out bogus information, they do an unfair comparison. The only fair way to compare it to Roseville is to compare their 53 agents that produced the deal last year to our top 53 agents.
Top 53 of how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that's all we have. There was only 31 agents at home sellers and 68 at CB. All right. Next slide, days on market and telesale. Not much of a change there. We're sitting at 44 days on average. I think it would surprise a lot of people that we were sitting at 28 days in telesale back in 2022, right? It felt like it was 5 minutes, not 28 days, right? So on average, that's where things are at. So get to know all of these numbers. Percent of original price received, we're sitting at 99.2. Last year we were at 99.8, and the year before that 102.6. So again, this tells me that agents are doing a great job pricing a home and are having realistic expectation conversations with their seller clients to lead to this type of number. So what will concern me is when it starts to drop and we get to 95, 93, that's going to tell me that average days on market's increasing, that we're not having good conversations, and that the month supply of inventory is increasing. inventory as well. All right, mortgage utilization rates. Mark and I talked about this a little bit this morning. 71.66% of loan conventional. Look at that, 16.5% cash, 6.4% are going FHA, and the rest just distress sales and other type of financing. Very, very minimal. Vast majority are going conventional. Homeowner equity on the next page. This is only increasing. 38% of homeowners, 33 million homeowners, which is 38% own their house outright. 38% or 32 million homeowners have 50% equity. So 76% have at least 50% equity. Isn't that interesting? Then 24% or 21 million have less than 50% equity, but are still probably sitting in one of the best equity positions ever. Recession probability. When you look at this chart, the shaded area is a recession, and then the probability is the yellow line. So my question is, what do you think is going to happen? There's never been a time, going back to the 1960s, that the Fed has raised rates at the rate that they have, and we have not gone into a recession, right? And so that's a pretty sharp indication that we go into a recession. Now, having said that, Gary and Ruben went over a few different scenarios at MegaCamp, and I want to go over those scenarios with you. So scenario number one is unemployment below 5%, interest rates falling to 6%, and we have 4.5 million sales next year. These are predictions for 2025. Scenario number two, unemployment grows to 6 to 8%, interest rates falling rapidly to 5 to 6%, and home sales at 5 million. And then number three, 8 to 10% unemployment, interest rates falling to 3 to 4%, and home sales 4 million or less. I'll just give you my belief. I think that we're going to see unemployment grow. It has been growing. There was a big jobs number revision last month. 818,000 more jobs were pulled off that were stated that they were created, and they weren't. That did bump up unemployment a little bit to whatever, 4.4%. So I think that we'll see unemployment maybe in that 5 to 6%, right? And then interest rates, I think, are going to be in that 5 to 6%, and I think that we will see that 5 million. I just don't think that we'll see the unemployment climb above 6%. Another reason why I don't think that's the case is that there is a job opening for everybody that's unemployed right now. Now, whether that's the right fit or not, hard to say. So we'll see what happens, and even 5 million again is not where we should be, because we should be at least at 5.5 million sales. So we will see. And again, some of these numbers are skewed because what is the percentage of sales that are going new construction that are not reported in these numbers, right? Okay. Any questions on any of that? Here's good news. People want to use a realtor. 89%. Look at 2023, we finished at 89%. The method of purchase was through an agent or a broker. Look back in 2001, 69%. There was a lot of builder activity going on back then as well. Not nearly the same as what we have today. Previous owner activity back in 01 was a lot greater than it is today. And then I'm not sure what the other is, but maybe quick claim deed or something like that was happening. But 89% want to work with a realtor. And by the way, buyers want to be represented and sellers want to be represented. We know that. We need to adapt to that as well. All right. Any questions? Oh, look at that. Finished 2 minutes ahead of time. Enough time for questions? All right. Lisa?
If increases, it said that home sales would decrease. Do you think that's because people can't buy and sell?
Yeah, there's just too much uncertainty, and that's what happened during the Great Recession. We got up to 9 something for unemployment during the Great Recession, and we just saw that demand just drop off because of it. So real estate, we've been in a real estate recession for over 2 years. Does everybody agree with that? We all felt that, right? We see it in the numbers, pending sales down, closed sales down. We're headed in the right direction. Generally speaking, real estate's the first one into the recession, and real estate's the first one out of the recession. A lot of times, real estate will pull the overall economy out of the recession. So maybe we do well enough this time where rates come down and we don't actually slip into a recession. Probably heard some talk about a soft landing. Let's just hope that that's the case. It's never fun to go through. There's too much uncertainty. The election, obviously, it creates a lot of uncertainty for people just because we're being told from both sides that the nation's going to go to hell if either side is elected, right? And so there will be more money thrown at television commercials this election than there ever has been in the past. But again, we're headed in the right direction. Larry has said that typically when you find the bottom, it's a 10-year run back to the top. And let's not forget the logo on the front of the ship book. There's 2 lines on there. As the amount of available income in real estate increases, the number of people who get into real estate increase until it becomes unsustainable, and then it survives as the market drops. That's what we've gone through. And then it's time to thrive again. I believe that we're about to hit that part of that graph where we start to come back out, and units per agent will increase, volume per agent will increase, and your income will increase because of it. And make sure that all of you are on top of all of the changes. Now you can best utilize them in your business. And if there's something that we need to do from any standpoint, whether it's stats, whether it's forms, whether it's changes, any new changes, anything that is going to adversely or positively affect your business, we want to make sure that you're educated. Any other questions?
I saw in one of the quotes from a housing analyst in Keeping Current Matters that the election years don't change the projection of sale prices. That's with the research, that sound about right? I mean, not a lot of people talk about it. I'll wait.
So prices or the volume of sales?
Prices.
Yeah. And I would say that that's probably true. And I do believe that we're in market conditions that the prices continue to go up. If we started to, there's some other markets where they've seen their inventory increase by 80%. Ours is one of them, right? And we tend to, in the middle of the country, be more kind of steady Eddie, but San Antonio, their market, their inventory has increased dramatically. Nashville, their inventory has increased dramatically. Then you go to Chicago, they're well below where they should be, way below where we're at here, in the Twin Cities as well. So I think that, we don't tend to see those big fluctuations like some other markets do. In San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Houston, just red hot. We didn't get red hot like they got red hot, where there was such demand. We just continue doing our thing here, in the Midwest. So hopefully we don't see our inventory increase the way theirs did. If we do see it increase, then we will see downward pressure. Right, a couple minutes over. Nick, you got anything else?
No, thank you, Tom. Probably, it's fun. What Tom also brings is pizza in the back. So we got more pizza from Adam Pito's Slice Brothers. Thank you to that, and we appreciate that today. Let's go eat 10 pizzas. I expect the younger to eat more pizzas. I see a few of you in here.
My son wouldn't be mad if you left him one plate.
Yeah. So guys, don't have to eat their pizza.